I made mistakes in my life. I've learned from my bad choices. I'll know better next time. Don't mention a person's past mistakes when they're trying to change. That's like throwing rocks at them while they're struggling to climb a mountain. Yeah, let's talk about that. What's up, what's up? This is the Boss Ladies Live Radio Show. Speaker Studios, sponsored by Boss Ladies Inc. Welcome back to another show. Thank you to all the listeners, supporters, tuning in, coming out at weekdays at 6 p.m. 9 p.m. Sundays at 6 p.m. Let me know if you want to be a guest on the show. What's your topic, date, and time? And what works best for you between the hours of 9:30 and 10 o'clock, weekdays, Monday through Saturday, Sundays at 6 p.m. And on the playlist, we play Soul Mate Mix by DJ Disky off the Magix app. And also, too, coming from the Love Chronicles mixtape by Miss Fabulous called Hate You. So if you ever check that out, go to www.reverbnation.com/NUCKDDSKI. Yeah, y'all, I was watching this movie last night just to, just have a little escapism. I don't watch a lot of movies anymore. I used to be a big-time movie buff. But this particular movie, somebody close to me introduced it to me. It's called The Bridges of Madison County. If you ever check that out, it's pretty old, back in the 90s. Check that out, man, because it really shows you what the love bug does to folks. I mean, the lady that was playing in it, she had a family. She had a husband. She had 3 kids, you know what I'm saying? And her life was pretty boring. She was in the country. You know, that little simple life that some of us dream of, some of us dread. And she ended up, her husband went away on a vacation or whatever, and she was left with the kids and the house and all of that. And she seemed to get lonely, and then she met a guy. They got to talking. They instantly fell in love in 4 days. It was a tearjerker, and, it was a little infidelity. And then I know, I was like this when I first saw it, like, oh, she just cheated on her husband. That's bogus, whatever. But I didn't pay attention to the love part of the whole movie, like how the chemistry was so strong. The love was always there, and they didn't have much to offer but each other's time. And that's something you can't get back. But she knew that if she left her husband for him, that it would devastate the family, and it would cause major problems in a small city, a small town. So she didn't want all that, beef. So she went back to her normal, boring life, But it had a message behind it, to enjoy your life and enjoy your life to the full. And don't be ashamed to enjoy the ones that you love. And falling in love is something that all of us want. It's maybe temporary, it may be for a few seconds or for a few years, but it feels so doggone good. So let's get some EDU in our lives. Yes, school is in, and we're going to be talking about the early stages of falling in love. Stay well despite feeling euphoric, endangered, and exhausted altogether, by Deborah Hoshaba. She's a psychiatric doctor. And it says, There's nothing quite as exhilarating as the early stages of a romantic relationship. Just the thought that you may have found your one and only can be so thrilling. But the early stages of falling in love can be as frustrating as they are wonderful. Your new love may consume your energy, focus, and time to the point where everything else going on in your life may feel like a rude intrusion. You can't stop thinking about your lover. You get up and go to sleep obsessing about the relationship and what your future will look like together. To some of you, this reaction to love may seem overboard, but many of you know firsthand how falling in love can turn you into an obsessed, needy, and insecure person for a time. You don't have to have emotional issues from the past to feel this way. Of course, if you do, the stage will be particularly difficult for you. Remember, the saying is not staying balanced in love, it is falling, losing yourself to love. So if you are in the early stages of falling in love right now and you feel a little crazy, don't worry, you kind of are. You are under the influence of your hormones that are making you feel at all once euphoric, endangered, and exhausted. Let's call these the 3 E's of falling in love. Researcher Donatella Maserati of the University of Pisa, Italy, if I'm saying that right, helps us to understand the euphoria we feel in the early stages of romantic love. She says, it is more than 2 hearts uniting when people fall in love. Their hormones unite as well. The nerve transmitters adrenaline and phenethylamine, PEA, also present in chocolate, increase when 2 people are attracted to each other. That puts them in emotional overdrive. Additionally, the relaxation, feel-good hormone serotonin lowers, causing you to obsess about your lover and consistently reflect back on the romantic time spent with him or her. Falling in love produces a biological state that is a high similar to being on cocaine. More interestingly, Donatella Maserati discovered that falling in love also alters testosterone levels in men and women. This is the male sex hormone that makes men hunters and gatherers and more able than women to be sexual without an emotional commitment. Increased testosterone levels in women during the early stages of romantic love make them more sexual and aggressive, while decreased testosterone levels in men make them more emotional and receptive at this time. This finding makes me smile. I have heard more than one man say through the years, "What happened to her sex drive? When we first went out, she was sexually wild. I couldn't keep up with her. She tricked me." If you yourself have felt this way about your female lover now, you know that it was her hormones that made her into a girl gone wild. Why can love's early stages make you feel personally endangered as well? First, the euphoria that you feel can disorganize you. You are adding a dating relationship to your normal busy routine. Your normal responsibilities at work and home may fall to the wayside as you put more energy into solidifying your love relationship. This can make you more anxious than normal. Also, loving asks you to lower your defenses and loosen up your personal boundaries so that you can merge your needs and desires with those of your lover. This process can be threatening and make you feel unsafe. Nonetheless, this is the making of a strong, healthy relationship attachment. It takes time to trust each other and to know that this attachment will not hurt you. No wonder we can feel anxious and unsafe when we first fall in love. There's much to gain and to lose in the process. The fear you feel is palpable. Many of you may unconsciously create emotional issues and dramas to give voice and make tangible the endangerment that you feel. With all of the hormones, changes, and fears going on inside you, it is no wonder you may feel exhausted in the early stages of falling in love. I've heard several people say that they can't wait until the honeymoon period is over so that they can get some rest. It's no wonder that some of you may rush to seal the relationship deal, just to put an end to these uncomfortable feelings. Knowledge is power. Hardy persons arm themselves with knowledge. They approach new experiences as a chance to learn something new about themselves, the hardy attitude of challenge, and learn what they can to cope effectively with stressful situations, the hardy attitude of control. Indeed, the early stages of falling in love are stressful. The following recommendations will help you to navigate the falling in love stage more smoothly so that you can treasure this very special time in your life. 1. Enjoy the high, but don't lose yourself in it. 2. Keep your schedule, no matter how much you want to throw it over. 3. Acknowledge you are under the influence of some powerful hormones. 4. Get the nutrition, rest, and relaxation that you need to stay physically, emotionally, and mentally sound. 5. When concerns and fears come into your mind about your lover, ask yourself if you're just trying to discharge the anxiety that you feel about the unknown so that you can stop a personal drama in its track. 6. Don't rush to seal the relationship just because you can't stand the anxiety of having to go through the stages of falling in love. Accept your anxiety and learn to work with it. 7. Research shows that falling in love also makes you more creative. Scientific American, does falling in love make us more creative? So, work out that anxiety and fear through some creative activities. 8. Don't lower your defenses, personal boundaries, and expectations to the extent that you are denying what you really desire and need. This never works out well. You want to build an authentic relationship attachment rather than one based on fantasy alone. You will handle this wonderful time much better just by knowing what I've shared with you today about the process. Accept the process and let love unfold in its natural way. If you like my post today, please say so by selecting the like button that immediately follows. I welcome your experiences, thoughts, and comments. Warmly, Deborah. That's great, Deborah. I love that article. And it's very true. But the early stages, figuring out why you got together in the first place, what drawn you to each other. And I had an experience one time where I truly believed that I was in love with this person. This person was my soulmate. And in the end, I got rejected for life circumstances. Other relationships came into play. I was fully aware of all of that. But when you're in love, you just don't care about none of that. They can tick you off to the highest bidder. But that love will just cover that all up and just say, never mind. As long as I can love this person, I don't care what happens. And sometimes that could be a dangerous thing. Falling in love is easy, but letting go, it's not. So, what I'm going to share now by Janice Vahor, PhD, Living Forward, is 4 clear signs it is time to let go of your relationship. Learn when to cut your losses and just say goodbye. Relationships require a vast amount of investment such as time, money, and most of all, emotional energy. The more you invest in your relationship, the more it shapes your choices and ultimately your life. When you have so much invested, it can be hard to let go for reasons such as worrying about the impact on the kids, wondering if you have really put forth enough effort, or the fear of being alone. But when a relationship deteriorates, there is inevitably always a time when the damage has been done and no amount of salvaging can save it. Knowing when to let go is extremely key to being able to cut your losses, maintain your own mental health and well-being, and move forward toward the better relationship you deserve. Below are 4 reasons that will indicate it is time to let go of a relationship, if there's any relationship at all, because some of us we tend to be in a whole relationship and the other person has no idea that they're in a relationship with you.